friends! My name is Bente, I'm the NORSE WITCH, and welcome to my first ever Q&A video. How exciting! I personally really love watching Q&A videos. I think they're extremely relaxing for some reason, and also I like getting to know the creator of the videos that I'm watching more. And I think Q&As are a great way to do that. I've been trying to film a Q&A for 2 months maybe, but I never really got a lot of questions. But for some reason, the last time it really worked out and I got so many questions, probably even too many questions. So maybe I will split this in 2 videos, we will see. I would honestly really love to make more Q&A videos than just once. So if you have any questions that you want me to answer in the Q&A, then put them down in the comments. But without further ado, let's start with the questions. I have them right here on a notebook, written by hand. I'm old-timey like that sometimes. For some reason, I got a lot of questions about piercings. And I was like, why though? But I said that all questions are welcome, no matter if they're witchcraft related or Norse paganism related or just personal questions. So of course, I also got other questions. Since I got so many piercing related questions, I will go through them quickly in the beginning. The first question was, which one do you like best? Which of my piercings do you like best? I really loved my cheek piercings. I had my cheeks pierced once, but they got really badly infected and I had to take them out, and I'm still struggling with the scar tissue that I got. I really loved my cheek piercings, but since I don't have them anymore, I guess I will have to pick another one, and I think that will be my septum piercing. I really struggled picking one because I love the combination of them, but I guess the one that I wouldn't want to take out most would be the septum. Next question. Which piercing hurt most? Easy. TMI maybe, but I once had my nipples pierced, both. I got them for my birthday. How masochistic can you be to get your nipples pierced on your birthday? But yeah, I got my nipples pierced. They hurt like hell. I don't have them anymore, but those were the ones that hurt most, and then I guess the cheek piercings. Apart from that, all the piercings that I got were pretty fine. My pain tolerance is kind of weird because piercings that usually hurt really much for other people, like the septum, didn't really hurt that much for me, but piercings that are really chill for other people really hurt like hell for me. Like, not like hell, but they hurt more than they should, maybe. For example, the nostril piercings, they hurt more than the septum, which I found pretty weird. Is there a piercing that I wouldn't get done again? Yes, definitely the nipples. I love how they look, but they were a pain in the ass because normally, TMI, I sleep only in like under panties, and I couldn't do that with my nipples pierced because I was constantly so afraid of ripping them out and just, I don't know, getting stuck on something, and oh, it hurt so bad when I did. So yeah, they were a pain in the ass. I wouldn't get my nipples pierced ever again. Do you want more piercings? Not in my face, because all the piercings that I liked, I already got. So I've had quite a lot of piercings already. So not in the face, but maybe I thought of maybe a conch piercing in that ear. Maybe. So yeah, ear piercings would be the only thing, but cartilage piercings are just, I hate trying to heal them. I had one once and it was a nightmare. It was my first ever piercing, and yeah, I took it out after like 6 weeks because it just didn't want to heal. It constantly got infected. It was a pain in the ass, so I took it out. So I'm kind of struggling with the idea of getting a conch piercing because I would sleep on it and stuff, and it would probably get infected and look bad, and I don't know. And the last question about piercings was, how many piercings do you have? I think it's 10 at the moment. Nostrils, septum, philtrum, vertical labret, tongue, and 4 on the ears. You can't see it, because my ears are stretched pretty large, but I have 2 piercings in each ear. I think that's 10, but I had a lot more. That was it with the piercing questions. The next question is, what was your favorite offering so far? I really struggled with that question, but I think it's the cat that I got for Freya. I went to a crystal shop on my birthday, my last birthday actually, and I found a cat made from amber, and that was just perfect for Freya, so of course I got it for her. And I think that's my favorite offering that I've given. The next question is, what made you practice witchcraft? That's an interesting one. I've always been interested in different kinds of religions, and I dabbled with some religions and spirituality and stuff, but I only got into witchcraft because I watched a YouTube video by Harmony Nice back in the days. It was one about Wicca, so I got into Wicca because it was like the first religion that just completely made sense to me, that felt like home for me, because all the things that I back then believed in were basically Wicca. So I became a Wiccan. I'm not a Wiccan anymore, obviously, but yeah, the witchcraft part, it stuck. What's your advice for a baby witch whose family doesn't believe in witchcraft? I think that completely depends on 1, whether you're still living at home with your family, and 2, whether your family only doesn't believe in it or if they also don't accept it. I think, for example, if you are not living at home anymore, then it's basically just a question of, do you want to still get accepted by your family if they don't accept witchcraft? But it couldn't get like dangerous for you or something. The worst thing that could then probably happen is that you lose contact with your family because they don't accept it. But if you're still living at home with them and you run the risk of getting kicked out of your house and becoming homeless, then I think is a whole different story. So if you are still living at home and your parents don't just not believe in it, but they don't accept it, they don't tolerate it, then I would say just don't tell them. There are a lot of things that you still can do if you are a broom-closeted witch. Of course, there are some things that you can't do because they're pretty obviously witchy, but it doesn't mean that you can't practice witchcraft. It's just probably a little bit more complicated than if you are maybe not living at home anymore. But if you think your parents would accept it and they just don't believe in it, you could just tell them and see what they think. For example, my whole family doesn't believe in witchcraft. I still told them about it because I'm not living at home anymore, and I was just pretty sure that maybe they would laugh at me, but that would be the worst thing that would happen. Yeah, it just completely depends on your situation, but I just wouldn't recommend getting kicked out of your house because you told your family that you're a witch. I think that's not worth it. You don't have to tell anyone. You don't even have to tell your friends. Next question. What moment marked your movement to paganism and deity work from secularism? Honestly, I didn't believe in deities for a long time. When I started out as a Wiccan and a witch, I didn't believe in deities. I didn't really know what to make of the idea of deities, because beforehand I had been an atheist for a really long time. So believing in deities and accepting that deities exist was kind of hard for me. So I just didn't believe in it at all. I didn't work with deities at all. I didn't even think I would ever work with deities or believe in them. I don't remember what changed, because at some point I just really got interested in Skadi, the Norse goddess of winter and hunting and stuff. I just got really interested in her and I started researching about it. I started researching about Norse paganism and about Norse mythology and stuff. And something just clicked. I don't know, it just changed. But I can't really tell you what exactly made me believe in it. Maybe it was Skadi. Who knows? Next question. If you could live anywhere, where would it be? I loved the question. I don't know if I would move to another country. I've thought for a long time that I would love to live in Iceland, because Iceland just really fascinates me. Unfortunately, I haven't been to Iceland yet, because I planned on doing it last year and then COVID hit, so I didn't do it. But I've, for example, learned Icelandic for 1.5 years. I love the language, it's so beautiful, and yeah, the country and the history just really fascinates me. But I don't think, or I don't really know if I would still move there, because I think living in Germany is a really big privilege, and Iceland is really, yeah, the weather isn't really the best, and it's pretty expensive, but also there is a lot of nature around. Like, maybe I would move to another country. I think if I would move to another country, it would definitely be one of the Scandinavian countries. But apart from that, I would probably stay in Germany, but I would love to live far away from a big city. I'm currently living in the second largest city in Germany, and I really struggle with that. I talked about it in another video. I will link it up there. I don't remember. I will link it in an info card. Yeah, I just want to live in nature. I don't want to have neighbors anymore. The best thing for me would basically to have like an old farm, to like renovate it, to have just the space to grow my own vegetables and fruits and herbs and stuff, and have like farm animals, like a lot of chickens. And my boyfriend and me, we're always joking about that we want like guard geese. We don't want a guard dog, we want 2 guard geese named Brutus and Helga. So that's something that I would really love. Just living outside of town, somewhere far away from the next big town, preferably right next to a forest. Maybe even to own a small part of a forest or something, or to live inside of a forest, I don't know. The next question is, what does your wand look like? My wand, I will show you a photo or a video of it because I don't have it here. It's honestly really nothing special. It's just a random stick that I found in the forest. Like, when I wanted to make my own wand, I just went to a forest with the intention that I would love to find a stick that I could use to make a wand of. It was a stick that had already fallen from the tree, so it was like dead wood. So I don't really know what kind of wood it is. I don't know what tree it came from. I just intuitively picked that stick. And yeah, then I just basically really amateurly carved it with an X-Acto knife and just wrapped some yarn around it to create a handle. And that's basically it. But I really connect to it. I really love it. I like how it came out. And yeah, I don't really need a fancy wand. I love it, pretty simple. Next question. Are you a coffee person or a tea person, and what's your favorite coffee or tea? I'm definitely a tea person. I don't ever drink coffee. The only times I drink coffee is when I am extremely tired because I couldn't sleep at all or something like that. I am, as you can see, a tea person, and I don't really have a favorite tea. I have a huge tea collection, and every time I want to drink some tea, I just choose whatever tea fits the situation. If it's in the evenings and I just want to read a book and get ready for bed, then I would usually like take maybe some lavender, chamomile tea, something like that. In the mornings, I usually drink black tea. I don't know, if I had to pick a favorite tea, maybe that would be chai, because I really like chai, and you can make chai latte with it, which I love. So probably chai. Next question, how do you meet other pagans? Do you have any online or app suggestions? I met my friends over the Pagans and Witches Amino app, but it has been a long time since then and I haven't been online there. So I don't know if it's still good, but I met them there. And also on Facebook, via just Facebook groups. Another thing that obviously works is Instagram. I think that works pretty well. And especially for Norse paganism, there is a pretty new app by like Descended from Odin. I think it's also called the Descended from Odin app. I don't use it anymore because I try to reduce my screen time and my social media usage. So I removed most apps. So I don't know how it evolved, but I thought it was fun when I was using it. So maybe that would still be a thing that you could use. Next question. What do you do when you feel completely empty and weak? The thing that I've learned works best for me is to basically cancel the day. For me, it's most of the times like that. I wake up, I instantly notice that something's off and I just feel bad and I'm just in a bad mood and I'm sad and empty and I have no motivation. And then I basically just cancel all my plans, and in my head I'm like, okay, this day is already done, it's already fucked. So I will just cancel all my plans, spend the whole day alone just doing the things that I feel like doing. And that basically looks different every time. Sometimes I spend the whole day just watching Netflix or playing video games. Sometimes I spend the whole day in nature. Sometimes I read a lot. I just try to, remove any pressure, because I feel like a lot of people, when they have a bad day and they lack energy and motivation and they just feel sad or completely empty, not even sad anymore, they put a lot of pressure on themselves because they think they still have to make good use of the day, and they think they always have to be productive and do stuff. And that was the same for me, so just getting rid of the pressure and just basically doing nothing because you don't have to do anything, that really works for me. Okay, next question. Do you believe Norse demigods exist? I had to think about that quite a lot, and I don't really think so, because if you look at the gods, for example, if you look at Odin, he's basically a demigod. He's the son of a giantess and a god. So he's basically a demigod. He's like not 100% god by heritage, but he's still considered a proper god. And there are even gods that no one knows where they really came from, like Loki, or giants or giantesses who are just made into a god or a goddess. I don't know how that works, but with Skadi that was the case. She's a giantess and she just told the gods, like, make me into a goddess, I just want to be a goddess, and then she was a goddess. So since Norse gods don't have to have one specific heritage, I don't think there's a need for demigods. That's just what I was thinking of. If you have another opinion, tell me in the comments, because I think that question was a really good one and I'm really interested in hearing your thoughts about it. So, do you believe Norse demigods exist? Next question. What's your definition of a deity? I'm honestly still struggling with that, to be quite honest, because for a long time, as I said, I didn't believe in deities. Then for a long time, I just thought deities were like the personification of some nature aspects. I kind of don't believe in that anymore. Like when I got into Norse paganism, I just kind of got rid of that belief. And now I'm still struggling whether deities are just like egregores and they're just made up by human thought and they're just basically a big thought form, which I would be okay with, honestly. Sorry, my camera cut me off. So where was I? Deity definition, yes. So I definitely think that deities are separate entities. I'm just not 100% sure whether they're egregores or like proper separate beings that evolved by themselves without humans. And we will never know. And honestly, does it matter? Yeah. Please tell me in the comments what you think the definition of a deity is. I think that completely varies from person to person, and I always think it's really interesting to see what other people think of that. Next question. What do you think about the placebo effect? It's what's keeping me questioning witchcraft. That's a really, really good question. I love that question. I think it's pretty hard to explain my point of view on that question, because I kind of think it is witchcraft. I mean, if you think about the placebo effect, like, apart from the fact that at least that's what I am educated about, I don't know if I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, please tell me in the comments. But I think that science hasn't been able to properly explain why the placebo effect works and how it works yet. I may be wrong. I may be wrong. If I'm wrong, please tell me in the comments, because I think that's really interesting. But in the end, what's the difference between taking some kind of medication with the intention of it healing my body and believing that it will heal my body and taking it and then it works, versus performing some kind of spell with the intention that it will heal my body and believing that it will heal my body and then it works? What's the difference? And does it really matter? Does it matter why it works? I don't think we will ever be able to properly explain why witchcraft works or how witchcraft works. So we also won't ever be able to properly explain the difference between the placebo effect and witchcraft. I think the topic is really interesting, but I also think that we shouldn't overthink it. Because if we try to find a way of doubting witchcraft, then we will probably find one. But as long as it works, does it matter why it works? I don't think so. So I honestly don't care if my spells work because of the placebo effect or because magic. I don't care. As long as we are not able to explain why it works, I don't care. Next question. Do I have to practice spell work if I want to work with deities? Definitely not. Of course, it could be handy if you are able to do spell work for example, protection, but you don't have to do spell work for protection. So, no, you don't have to do it. Why did you shave your head? First off, why not? Oftentimes people tell me, oh, you're so brave for shaving your head. And I'm like, why though? It's not dangerous to shave your head. Hair grows back, even if I don't like it. Hair grows back, there are wigs. Why is it brave to shave your head? I don't know. Long story short, beforehand, I could put a photo up somewhere. I had hair that went down to my waist, probably. I think it went down to my waist. It was fucking annoying because it was not only long, it was really thick. I have really thick hair and a lot of hair. So I basically had to shower in the evenings and wash my hair in the evenings and then sleep on that hair. And it still would be wet in the mornings. But if I would wash my hair in the mornings, my hair would be wet all day. And that was so annoying. Also, I constantly just laid on it and pulled on it, and it was, I was basically sick of it. The second thing was that people just saw my hair. They were like, if I'm looking for you, I just look for your hair, because it was bright red. I just look for your hair and stuff. People just kind of defined me by my hair, which I hated, because I'm more than my hair. And the third thing is that I kind of felt like I was hiding behind my hair sometimes. I think that's a thing that a lot of women do. And I didn't want to hide behind my hair anymore, especially because I kind of hated my forehead because it's pretty big. And I hated my ears because they kind of stick out. And I wanted to challenge that. I just wanted to see whether if I shaved my head and I would see my forehead and my ears all the time, if I would get rid of that hate for those body parts, because I felt like that was ridiculous. And it completely worked. Now I just don't care about my forehead and my ears anymore. So that's good. So yeah, those were basically the 3 reasons why I shaved my head. Apart from that, I think women with a shaved head look fucking cool and sexy, and yeah, there's just something so womanly about a shaved head. I don't know why, but I just think women with shaved heads look badass and cool, and I wanted to be one of them. Yeah, if I wouldn't have liked the way it looks, I wouldn't have shaved my head. Duh. Next question. How private is your craft? It's like semi-private. All of my friends and my family know about it. I mean, most of my friends are also witches, so I don't have to keep it private. Of course, my boyfriend knows, my family knows, so everyone really that I spend a lot of time with knows, but I keep it completely private at work. I think, yeah, one person at work knows, and I think one other person knows because they by accident found my YouTube channel. But apart from that, I don't talk about it because I know that most people at my workplace, I'm a software developer, they think it's completely ridiculous. I've had people at work just talk badly about people who believe in like healing crystals and stuff. So I don't want to see what they would say if I would admit that I'm a witch. And yes, one part of me would like to be the person that just proudly stands up in front of them and says, yes, I'm a witch. Yes, you can laugh at me for it, but yes, I'm a witch and I won't hide. But I just kind of don't really want all the negative energy. I don't want people to laugh at me. I don't want people to not take me seriously anymore because that would probably happen. And at work, that's not the best thing. So yeah, at work I keep it private. Next question. Did you have any beliefs beforehand? Yes. I have been a Christian and a Buddhist and an atheist, which isn't a belief, but yeah, I went through quite some stages in my life. How do I build up a connection to Freya? I will make a separate video about Freya soon. I will probably explain it too in that video, but to keep it pretty short, of course, you can just pray to her and meditate on her and stuff. You can do that with every deity, but things that I find that help me connect with Freya are, for example, practicing self-love a lot, and like just small things like doing your makeup for her or dressing up really nicely for her, stuff like that. Finding your self-confidence and your voice, because Freya is just a badass goddess. She doesn't take shit from anyone, and she just stands up for herself, and she doesn't let people shut her down. She tells people what she thinks without hesitating. So finding that within yourself is a great way to connect with Freya. Also, she's a goddess of like sex and eroticism, so maybe something around that. How did you open your third eye? Honestly, I don't really think it's completely open, like at all, because I really struggle, especially with seeing things. Like I don't see spirits. I really struggle seeing auras. I basically only see white around a person when I try to see their aura, and maybe if I'm really lucky that day, I see one tiny splotch of color, but I really struggle with things like that. I can feel a lot of stuff, which is cool, but apart from that, I'm not really that gifted, so I don't think my third eye is really that open. I unfortunately can't really help you with that. Obviously, I haven't found a way that works 100% yet. Have you ever worked with Mesopotamian or Zaorostrian Amesha Spentas? I'm sorry, I probably butchered that pronunciation. No, I have only worked with Norse deities, unfortunately. And I don't think I will ever work with deities from other pantheons either. I don't know why, I'm just not really interested in that. How do you write a ritual? I will make a separate video about it. It's a video that I've wanted to make for basically since I have started this YouTube channel, but I don't know, for some reason I've always pushed that back, so maybe that will be the next video that I will make. it looks really different for each and every one. To make it very short, the thing that I do is mostly like, one, I think of the spell intention, like what do I want to accomplish with that ritual or that spell. Then I think about the energy which corresponds with that intention. Then I think of the planetary energy that corresponds with that intention. Then I think about the spell framework that I want to use. Do I want to, for example, use a candle spell, or do I want a spell bottle, etc., etc. Then I think about correspondences, like other correspondences that would work for that intention, crystals, herbs, whatever, and then I just go from there, basically. And then for like ritualistic purposes, I have my basic framework all set up: cleansing the sacred space, casting a circle, calling the quarters, stuff like that. I do the same thing each and every time I do a ritual, so I don't have to think about that. Yes. Next question. What deity was the first one you worked with? The first deity that I worshipped was Skadi. It's the first deity that I ever got in contact with, but the first deity that I properly worked with was Odin. How to get out of a craft or spirituality rut or feeling stuck in your craft or spirituality? There are different ways that could work. One thing that I want to say is that it's completely normal. That happens to everyone. I haven't met a single witch that hasn't felt stuck ever in their craft. So one thing that could work is maybe go back to the basics, like the real basics, only like meditation, grounding, stuff like that. Like refreshing the basics could work. Maybe doing really, really small everyday rituals. For example, I don't know, storing intention into your coffee or tea. Maybe turning your shower or bath into a cleansing shower or a cleansing bath. Small everyday things like that, maybe. Or maybe what really works for me every time is indulging in small things that make you feel magical. For example, I have a playlist on Spotify that is just, I don't know, my magic, magic playlist. Listening to magical music or watching movies or television shows that make you feel magical, that kind of bring you into this magic mindset. That could work. And what could also work is to try something completely new within your craft. Maybe get into a path of witchcraft that you don't know anything about, or I don't know, if you haven't done anything with astrology yet, maybe get into astrology. Just try new things that will maybe excite you again, and maybe that will ignite the flame of your magical mindset again. Yeah, those were the questions for this Q&A. As I said, I would love to do that more often. If you have any questions for the next Q&A, then put them down in the comments. And also, if I didn't answer your questions, don't be sad. Just put it in the comments again, and then maybe I will answer it in the next Q&A. As always, feel free to subscribe and give a thumbs up, and follow me on Instagram, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!